Normally, I jump right into my intro, but guess what? That guy is ass.
Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire Stick TV, Facebook, and YouTube. Get all your sports news here first. The daily podcasts are Ken and Ken in the Morning, Lions Talk with Smoking Jeremy B, Wrestling Roundup, The Big Football Show, and more, Shield TV, Lions Villain Report, and Red Zone Rant. The afternoon podcasts are Valhalla, Brosef Sports, WCFL Dolphins Talk, The Cheap Seats, The Bodkin Show, Spirit of Detroit Podcast, and Maniacs. The nightly podcasts are Hallis Hall Report, Frozen Tundra Network, Skull Gang 365, The Huddle Sports Network Open Mic, First and 10 with Foz, Main Event Football Show, Prime Sports World, The Man Cave, Prim and Proper Sports. Spitballing Podcast, Lions Fan Cave Chat, Puckett, 313 Den Podcast, The Guys Huddle, Shots from the Sideline, Let's Talk Sports, The Michigan Truth Sports Podcast, Off the Rails, NFC Northeast, Power Hours, and Detroit Lions News. Make sure you follow, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Hope you like all the shows.
That's right. It is Lions Talk with Smoking Jeremy B. We got Corey Patterson saying that Suckfeld is the worst quarterback I've seen in a while. Trace is in here saying, hey, Jeremy. And, of course, we got Buddy Kinkito. So I got the stats up here. Let's go over it. It wasn't great. I thought I was watching a Chicago Bears. It looked like one, didn't it? It looked like OTAs for the Bears. I agree. 13 of 24, 96 yards, one interception, and a 46.5 QBR for Nate Suckfeld. Hendon Hooker, 5 of 9, 36 yards, 4 carries, 34 yards. So that is a total of 70 yards of offense, a 65 QBR. He did not throw an interception. He had a long run of 16 where he truck sticked the linebacker like he was Marshawn Lynch. Yeah, he was flaming hot trash last night. He held the ball too long. He took sacks. I I've been saying it for weeks. Bring anybody in. At this point, I would hire one of those girls out of the extended lingerie football league at this point to be a quarterback. I would go to a grocery store and look for a out of work arena football player. Hooker totally trucked that guy. But at the same time, if you remember how we went from the up to the 8-yard line, right? Hook had better yards in 2 drives than Suckfield had the whole first. Yes, half, 100%. At one time, when Hooker left the game, his QBR was an 8.8. 8.8. Oh my God. Um, Running wise, our best running back was Hendon Hooker. Then it was Sion Vaki with 4 for 29 yards, 7.3 yards per carry, and 50 a yard long of 15. Nate actually ran a little bit, 3 for 14 yards. Woo! Had a long of 8 yards. Zonovan Knight had 6 carries for 12 yards. Craig Reynolds, 4 for 11. Jameer Jefferson, 5 for 9. Jake Punt was a little better, but he only had 4 carries, but 9 yards. All of those were less than 3 yards per carry from Zonovan Knight down to Jake Punt. In the receiving room, Isaiah Williams looked like a favorite target there for Hendon Hooker. He had 4 catches for 35 yards, 8.8 on 4 targets, not a single drop. Antoine Green, he was a favorite target with the first series with Suckfelt. 3 targets, 3 catches, 13 yards, 4.3, but had to leave the game due to a concussion. James Mitchell, 1 target, 1 catch. Zonovan Knight, 3 targets, 2 catches. Parker Hess, 1 target, 1 catch. Shane Zylstra, 1 target, 1 catch. Maurice Alexander, 3 targets, 1 catch. Caden Davis, 4 targets, 1 catch. Sean McKeon, one of our international pathways players from a couple years ago, 1 target, 1 catch. Tom Kennedy, 2 targets, 1 catch. Jason Calhoun, 2 targets, 1 catch. And then there was a bunch of people with no catches and targets. The worst one being Derice Fontaine. 3 targets, not a single catch. And it was Adrian Martinez is on somebody's squad right now. Um, so is McCarron. Um, McCarron got signed. Are you talking about AJ McCarron? No, I don't want. We know what he looks like in the NFL. Good morning, JB from Matt Henry. All Hooker needs is a little more time. He's the dude for the job. I think he showed flashes of what he could be, and it was an ugly game, 100%. But at the same time, I understand that we probably should have. If we'd have went for it the 4 times, the one kick would have been 64 yards, which is his career long indoors. So I think, but the shorter ones, the ones that were all shorter. Good afternoon, JB. Go Lions. Paul Jones. I think the reason why they didn't do that in the second half and they started going for it on 4th down is because the rain was coming down and it's going to make it harder for the holder. But it was an ugly game. But it is exactly what we wanted. It was practice. It was practice and seeing what our depth looks like. Um Isaiah Williams might have outplayed Derice Fontaine because that was in-game situation. Do I like losing 14-3? No. It is a concussion. As far as I can tell, it's a mild grade because to me, the only play that he could have got it on, and he stayed in. It was as soon as he went off the sideline, they noticed it. Um, yeah, there was not a lot offensively, but it was either when he trucked the guy or the next play where he got dragged down by the face mask, which is what put us into within the 10-yard line. Do you remember they cut the commercial and came back? And next thing you know, we had 1st and 10, and it was supposed to be 4th down, and I was thinking we were gonna kick a field goal there because it was a close field goal, and we were outside. But we got within the 10. And no, Martin is actually one of my standouts. I'll get into that in a minute. Who was that old lineman that went down? We lost Connor Galvin and Ike Becker. Ike Becker was the guard we signed that started 17 games for the Bills last season. And Connor Galvin was a UDFA depth piece at tackle that we picked up as a rookie UDFA last season. 90% of that roster I seen working with you last week at the tire shop. Yeah, Vaki, he showed me a lot. Reynolds showed me nothing. Zonovan Knight showed me nothing. Jake Funk showed me nothing. Jameer Jefferson, we all know how bad he is. We've known how bad he is, and he just proved it. 5 carries for 8 yards. Good Lord. Um, Let me get to the defensive side of the ball. Our leading tackler was Malik Jefferson, but that was mostly on special teams. He did really nothing in the lineup except for the 1 tackle for loss. Broderick Martin had four tackles, 3 assisted, 1 solo, and a half a sack. And he split that sack with Nate Lynn. Matthew Betts had 2 tackles. Hogan Hatton had 2 tackles because he was the long snapper that came in. Our lone interception, Brandon Joseph. I talked about him last offseason. Yeah, Ukwu, Isaac Ukwu. He was another UDFA I talked about. Houston, nope, they were right now because they don't know the status if Reader's gonna be ready week 1. Levi Amuzariki is in a battle with Marcus Davenport. Pico did nothing. I saw Pico out there, he did not look good. But Martin was getting low, he was contributing, he was helping. Uh, he got a half a sack with Nate Lynn. Ukwu got the other sack. Isaac Ukwu was one of those UDFAs that we signed that I looked into that I said he was a guy to watch during the preseason games. Um, so God, all the guys I wanted to watch were contributing at one point or another. Ben Neiman made a couple of nice tackles. Houston, he looked lost out there most of the time. He does not have that first step. He does not have that bend anymore. And he doesn't have those change of direction skills. Oh, I understand. It was either that play or when he got pulled down by the face mask because his head bounced off the turf. And I really think that is what gave him the concussion. That's just my opinion. I think that's the play that gave him the concussion, but it was a bell ringing concussion. You know what I mean? Where you're still able to be lucid, you're still able to be there. Uh, the O line didn't look great because we didn't play a single starter. Say what you want. We know Sorsdal's a turnstile at right guard, but at the same time, if you watch that first half with Suckbelt, he was holding the ball too long. He had 3 guys open every play, and he wouldn't throw the ball, and he took coverage sacks. It was awful. And he wasn't breaking containment until that second half. I think Hooker showed him, "Hey, maybe I need to go out there and run because that'll get us some yards instead of losing yards." I don't know what was going on, but Nate Suckbelt has to go. I personally would have left him there in East Rutherford, New Jersey on the tarmac. Say walk home. But with Hooker being in concussion protocol because he does have a concussion, that means it's a minimum of 7 days before he can be tested again. He has to be out those entire 7 days. So that means he's going to miss the Chiefs game, which means we need a backup because we don't want Jared Goff out there. At least I don't think we want Jared Goff out there. I don't want starters out there. And I personally said I think the Giants are going to win it because we're just there to evaluate depth, and they proved it. That's all we were there for. I think we're going to see the same thing all 3 games because we do have 2 joint practices. We had joint practices with the Steelers when we're at home. And we saw when DeVito got out there and ran, we still struggle with running quarterbacks. Why so many? We didn't have anybody other than Goff, and they weren't throwing Goff out there behind backups. So we had to send him out. Most of the guys that played last night will not be on the team game 1. I agree. I think I saw. Let me go over. Hooker has a mild concussion. Whether it's grade 1 or grade 2, I don't know. Grade 1 is the mildest of them, um, which means he'll be back after the Chiefs game, and I'm thinking that's what it'll be. Because it was one of those ones where he stayed in the game and he came out and they saw something and they sent him to the tent. Was that the fewest starters to ever play in the Lions preseason? No. Um, Last year we did the same thing. Goff didn't play any preseason snaps. Gibbs played because he was a rookie. Our rookies will play, but that's about it. Good afternoon, smoking dad. I just wish that track was a little longer. I wanted to see where they were going with it. Hello, Dale. Yes, we all know Suckfield sucked. What they brought him back for, I don't know. Oh Jesus, I agree. Broderick Martin. We saw, who was it that Chuck Ball let Tom Kennedy be the quarterback? So far in his career, he's 100% on throwing passes. It was a 75-yard touchdown pass to Khalif Raymond. Remember that? He stole the thumb drive from Will Harris and Benito Jones. Oh, I don't know what you saw is undone, but I liked what I saw out of Martin versus almost everybody else in the interior O-line room last night, or D-line room. Nobody stood out. Pico looked like crap. And that's a bad O-line. Their backups were playing. Yeah, Joe Milton had a good night for the Patriots. They won the toilet bowl down against the Carolina Panthers. Good for them. We all expected it. You know what I'm excited about? It's Friday. One more day of work, and then it's off to Detroit. Let's go. Camp day on Sunday. I'm going to be there. I will take pictures. I will post them in my article. I will post. Ukwu looked okay. Nate Lynn looked decent. Broderick Martin looked good. Colby Sorsdal did play right guard last night, and he wasn't good. Right, that was his first live action in a game since he blew out his knee in college over a year and a half ago. So on that same note, even last year, a few of the same rookies were starters. Now it's really only one. I'll still argue the fewest ever. Okay, and at the same time, pre preseason games are like the points on whose line is it anyway. They don't matter other than looking at depth anymore. The joint practices is where the starters get. Yeah, Betts did play. He had two decent tackles where he didn't allow a running back to get a gain in the second half. He came in with the third stringers, um, but he was rotational. But he did have a couple of good plays. Dan Skipper by far the best O line. Yeah, it's kind of a bad thing, but it was all backups that played, and it proved exactly what we thought, that Dan Skipper was going to make the roster. I said that all along. Sorsdal was our starting right guard last night. If you didn't notice his undone, he played the first half. In the first half, they were doing good against the pass rush. It was coverage sacks that killed Nate Suckfelt because he was refusing to pull the trigger. um, I saw a play that I posted in one of my chats with other Lions fans and such, and it was a girl throwing a 30-yard pass in Arena Football League. I was like, sign her up. She's better than Suckfelt. Yep. And that's exactly what it is. Manu looked decent. He wasn't great. He wasn't bad. Uh, but at the same time, there wasn't as many sacks given up in the second half. Our third stringers looked better overall because Suckfelt started throwing. There, no, it was coverage sacks. There was times where Suckbelt had 3 guys open and he didn't throw the ball. There was a tight end open, it was Zylstra open. Brock Wright was open on another play, along with another wide receiver, I can't remember who it was. But once Green went down, Suckbelt's security blanket was gone because you remember Green started to build a rapport with Suckfield last year in the preseason. It was the only guy that was catching anything from him. It wasn't flashy, but he made solid tackles. That's all I got. That's all I can say about Betts. They didn't really utilize him as a pass rusher, so he was in on plays and they ran the ball and he made stops. Hey, you know what I was happy about? We saw who the bums are in the safety room. It's CJ Moore. CJ Moore couldn't do anything. Maurice Norris can't tackle. He's a guy that's not going to make this squad. That miss on Eric Gray was so bad. Did I like Hooker's performance? Yes. And I'm going to tell you, those last 2 passes when we were down there within the 10, that's when I knew something was off because everything was off on those passes. Because he was 5 of 7 up to that point and was looking great. He gets the face mask. They get within the 10-yard line. Um, the pass to DPJ was on the money, but it wasn't a great looking ball, if you know what I'm saying. But at the same time, it hit him in the hands, and I understand it's raining, and which makes the ball slicker with even with the gloves. You gotta catch that pass for the touchdown. Rakestraw played well, Amik Robertson. Brendan Joseph was the star of the defense to me. And then I my 3 stars on defense was Brendan Joseph, uh, Ukwu, and then I had Nate Lynn and Martin. No, because he didn't. It was a bell ringer. You know what I'm talking about as undone? You know where you're concussed, but you don't know you're concussed? You're not really acting weird or doing anything. Just something looks off when you get close to him. And once Hooker had his helmet off and came to the sideline, they sent him directly to the tent. So I think those last 2 incompletions, the one was not a great pass, but it was a good pass to keep from getting sacked to keep us in scoring contention, is what I was getting at. The Lions are not getting fined over Amon-Ra St. Brown. He did not report the injury. You guys saw that, right? That investigation's done. Let me see if who else. Deron Gilbert made quite a few good plays. He had four tackles all solo. Mitchell Lagood did not impress me. Ennis Rakestraw did good. Like I said, Maurice Noren, no. Lauren Strickland, no. Amik Robertson, he had a couple passes defended that he was doing real well. Let's see, what else do I got here? I don't want Maurice Alexander ever touching a punt again. Is James Houston's time in Detroit almost over? I I don't think he was ready to come back. I Preseason is terrible and exciting at the same time. Right. I you know, if a player doesn't walk off the field, because you remember the refs are watching the players and they have to send them off the field if they notice something. The bell ringer type of concussion is that mild one where it's just like you got that ringing in your ear or you feel a little vertigo type feeling where you feel woozy but you feel fine at the same time. It's almost like us older men that deal with arrhythmia. You feel fine but you don't. Oh, I know. I hope we sign somebody. Do I want it to be Tannehill? I'm going to say this now, and I'm going to make my case against bringing in Tannehill. Tannehill interviewed with 6 teams. 4 of them traded for their backups. Do you know the 4 teams that he went and talked to, and then they traded for backups? I'll name them. Arizona. Is Tannehill better than Desmond Ritter? Right, having your bell rung in, like, a sudden drunkenness. Yeah, like when you're pounding shots and you take that trade for I don't mind that, but I'd rather not. I just hear me out on the Tannehill thing. Tannehill interviewed with the Cardinals. The next day, they traded for Ritter. You're telling me that Tannehill is not a better quarterback than Desmond Ritter? Only one team upgraded with their trades in my 2 teams, sorry. He went to Pittsburgh when all they had was Russ after they let Mason Rudolph and everybody else go. The next day, they traded for Justin Fields. Justin Fields way more athletic, but as far as a quarterback, Tannehill's better usually in statistically, correct? He went to Seattle. Next day, he leaves. They trade for Sam Howell. Sam Howell is an upgrade as far as I'm concerned. He passes the eye test as a better quarterback. So if you think about that, all of these teams, that's the problem. Exactly, buddy Conquito. That is what the GMs were talking about. Tannehill wants to get paid starter money and wants to compete for a starting job, which is why Detroit won't bring him in. Because you know these GMs talk. And that goes all around the league. The GMs talk to each other about free agents that are out there that are delusional. Tannehill's one of those delusional guys. He's refusing to accept the role that Marcus Mariota did. He will not be a backup. So I'm against that. I don't mind trading for Heineke, but with Kirk O'Shaughnessy being hurt, and Michael Penix starting, they need Taylor Heineke right now. So that is the only reason why I say do not bring in Tannehill. I say go search. We have 8 arena football teams. DPJ had 2 targets, and one of them was a 26-yard pass. So DPJ did more than Fontaine. DPJ did more than about 8 guys on the roster. Right. I wouldn't mind AJ McCarron. Adrian Martinez is already signed to another team. That happened. I can't remember where he's a backup, but he's in the league right now and he's not cut. Um, so we're probably going to see him this weekend. I just can't remember what team it was. I'll look it up and we'll talk about it tonight on the fan cave chat. You know, I was actually impressed with the grit we showed on defense. Think about this. We held them, even though we were held scoreless as far as an offensive touchdown the whole game, we held them scoreless through a half with the quarterback that was torching us at the end of the second quarter. The best part that I loved, Malik Neighbors on the field for 12 snaps. He was covered so well, they never targeted him. And everybody's going, well, why wasn't he targeted when he burned Rakestraw in zone? Trade for Bailey Zappi. Oh, no, I don't like Bailey Zappi at all. I've watched enough of his starting games. He's just as inconsistent as Martinez is on the Jets. Yep. But okay. Thank you, isn't done for the information. I just knew he was on a roster. So you're going to see him soon. because he's playing for the Jets. No, and the Giants did not look that much better if it wasn't for Eric Gray and Maurice Norris missing that horrible tackle. They'd only scored 7 points. Right. He was clamped down up to that point. The only time he got open was we were in zone coverage. And what did I say was Ennis Rakestraw's weakness coming out of college? Zone coverage. Carson Wentz, he just signed with somebody. He literally just signed. That's a sign that Tannehill wants to be a starter. Carson Wentz got a job before him. Think about that. The Giants only look good because Nate Sudfeld is trash. We know this. I've been saying Sudfeld's been a trash can for 2 seasons. Right. 39 is Maurice Norris. Got burned 2 times on big plays, one being the touchdown, 100%. He got burnt on the one big catch they had. Can't even remember who it was. And then he got burnt on that big touchdown run by Eric Gray. But Eric Gray was a guy I talked about last year that I thought would be a decent professional football player. But overall, you know what? We can't be too much upset with the defense overall. The defense overall played a tough game. But we're talking about Suckbelt is so bad he would make the kids from Little Giants look like pros. Yeah, Manu looked better than expected, but you can tell he's raw. You know, he might make this roster. Oh, please, God, get that name out of your mouth, Orlando. I'm not signing Medea's stunt double. Yeah, they owed us one from when we beat them 38-14. Man, you guys are great. 15 of the 16 people watching are on YouTube today. This is amazing. Haven't seen our buddy Brian Stover pop in yet, but he probably will. As soon as he shakes off that hangover from watching Suckbelt last night, because I know he had one. And anybody who says any one of our quarterbacks could do a good job as Goff, like they were saying in the off season, not on this roster. Right. He had his first down in the mid-second quarter. And we do got some work to do, 100%. Remember, we basically didn't see 42 out of our starting 44 yet. And I say that because it's either going to be a Meek or Rakestraw. Thank you, Fred Peterson, for calling that out. It is time for my intro because I want to see some good Lions plays because we haven't seen any since last regular season. Anybody else want to see that? Neither. Ooh. Oh, none of that list. Get that list out of here.
Here locally in the community, make sure y'all go check out Kneecap Body by Jeremy Jones.
That lightened the mood. Okay. Out of these are the best remaining quarterbacks left. We all know Ryan Tannehill's there. There's Trevor Simeon, Blaine Gabbert, AJ McCarron, Brian Hoyer, Kellen Mond, Ben DiNucci, and Nathan Peterman. The last one, remove it. I don't mind Ben DiNucci. He came in and made some good plays when a starter's gone down. AJ McCarron, let's go. You notice he's not in this list. Oh, no. Oh, yes. The views and opinions of Jeremy Ballrick Jr. does not reflect that of Motor City Kneecap Biters or myself, Smoking Jeremy B. Dad, after last night, you're right. Sudfeld should be our starter for waste management. Oh, that team's the Packers. Man, I got it up. What a list. So I like Blaine Gabbert, AJ McCarron, and Ben DiNucci the most out of all of them. Does anybody disagree with those three? I couldn't resist that one. Oh, you remember how everybody said, "Well, with the second pick, the Lions just might take Malik Willis right here." You like Hoyer, Dad? Nathan Peterman? Hell no. Let a Bears fan tell you about Nathan Peterman. He's Suckfeld with a little better pocket presence. Mm. Oh, Garoppolo's not a free agent. He's with the Rams. He's third stringer with the Rams behind Stetson Bennett. That was my point. Well, we can carry three, Don. Good, Don Burr. Welcome in, my guy. Haven't seen you in a long time. How's the Bears trolling going? Bring it. Joe Flacid is the backup in Indy. We got to bring in somebody because we got a week without a third QB. The most awesome offensive play of the game should have ended with the boring hookish slide, right? Um, I don't think that's where he did it. Flacco is on the Indianapolis Colts. Jimmy G String is a Ram. This is the best list remaining out of all the quarterbacks out there. This is the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's it. That's all there is. Gardner Minshew, Sam Darnold, Jameis Wilson, Jacoby Brissett, Marcus Mariota, Drew Lock, Mason Rudolph, Tyrod Taylor, Mitch Trubisky, Brett Rippey, and Joe Flacco with the Colts. Nathan Peterman just signed with the Saints. Teddy Bear's trolling is going wonderful. Yeah, I said the same thing. Garoppolo with the Rams, Easton Stick re-signed with the Chargers, Tyler Huntley with the Browns, Joshua Dobbs is with the 49ers, Kyle Allen with the Steelers, Jeff Driscoll with the Commanders, Carson Wentz is with the Chiefs, PJ Walker is with the Seahawks. So that's the rest of the best of them. Trade suck. They won't do that. Would you make that trade if you were the GM of the Indianapolis Colts? Yep. Super Bowl MVP Nick Foles retires. Yeah, but I believe he's coaching his high school team, and they got games coming up soon, so I doubt he'll break that contract. He retired because he knew it was his time. He knew that starting was not in his future. Ah, there he is, Brian Stover. I said it. Jeremy Hooker looked excellent. The little we saw of him, been waiting to watch him, and then the concussion. Sudfeld. Oh my God. Yeah, that's where we're at. So Pascal did nothing. Houston did nothing. Pico did nothing. Um, we're kind of in trouble, guys. You know why? Because this guy might have to play the entire game. And what is he? Oh no, what was it, Fred? Oh, they wouldn't post your comment. I have to go here and see what you hit. Andy Dalton is a Panther. The beige water pistol played last night. That's why we thought the Panthers might win. He doesn't have his bend. He doesn't have his get off, and he lost his change of direction skills. We should have left him Houston as a third down specialist last year, and we wouldn't be in this position. He wouldn't have broken his ankle. Using him in coverage where he sprained it, taped it up, went back and took the field, and then broke it is why we're where we're at and why he looks the way he looks. I warned everybody this offseason. Houston may never be the same again. And I hate being right. Eh, Edited. Dig up Bobby Lane and place it on the field. It will be better than Suckfelt. 100%. The corpse of Bobby Lane. Gary Daniels at this point would be, or Greg Daniels would be better. Hell, bring back Joey Harrington. Good Lord. It's a mild concussion. I think he'll be back in 7 days. But that means he has to miss the Chiefs game, which means if Sudfeld plays the whole game, I probably won't watch the next game. I know. I feel the same way. No, that dickhead can get shot out of a cannon with Suckfelt. Hipple. Hipple can't play anymore either. I seen him the other day on a podcast. But if Harrington came back, I'd have to go find his jersey. I can find his jersey. I know where it's at. It's in the trunk of my car. That's the one I wear when I go to wash the car. I got it. Tim Tebow. I would love Tim Tebow to come back. He got ran out of the league because he was a Christian. A Christian. So that being said, it looks like we need a guard, guys. Like Becker went down. They're saying that doesn't look good. Connor Galvin went down. We're probably going to need another guard. He got fat. Yeah, he did. So let's see who's the best remaining guards out here. I like Justin Pugh, Trey Turner, and Justin McCray. Call Bridgewater. Bridgewater is one of those guys that doesn't break his word, and he's a head football coach now in Tampa area for a high school team. He's one of those guys that don't do that. It's called integrity. Where's Drew Stanton? He retired. He's been an analyst in college football occasionally for Michigan State. Green is probably still laying. Come on, guys. He at least got carried into the locker room into the plane. Mitchell looks like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I'm bedbound. Wheel me out, coach. All right, Dave Barnett. You have a great day. It's about that time. We didn't. Oh, and I forgot my other thing. The first half, it wasn't raining yet. And what did we get to see? Jake Bates taking a 53-yard field goal outside and putting it between the uprights. Can we stop the Jake Bates outside hate now? Because he did it in a game situation. There's two wide receivers if we were going to sign somebody. Yeah. No, Drew Henson's washed. He retired too. Um, but there is two guys on this list in the wide receiver free agents that I would consider, and I think instantly they'd be a 3 on this roster. Actually, there's 4 or 3. I mean, Hunter Renfro, Corey Davis, and Lynn Bowden. The problem is rumors around through 4 of the 6 GMs that talked to him. Ryan Tannehill wants to still be paid starter money. Jake Bates, our leading scorer. Hey, but I will say that 3 of the times we went through it on 4th down, I wish we'd have kicked the field goals to put some more pressure on that defense because I think they might have cracked in the second half, even with Suckbelt throwing the ball. Um, I don't know who Alex Erickson is, but Hunter Renfro, Corey Davis, or Lynn Bowden if we're going to bring somebody in. Michael Thomas is getting at the back end of his prime and can't stay healthy. I don't want him. Julio Jones is past his prime and not a red zone threat, so you don't want him. Robbie Chosen, no. Richie James, Hakeem Grant can't stay on the field. He's a tiny boy. I named a few out of the free agent quarterbacks. These are the ones I'd give a shot at. Blaine Gabbert, AJ McCarron, Ben DiNucci, and Dad mentioned Brian Hoyer. Any one of those guys. Remember, Blaine Gabbert did lead the Jags to an AFC championship game at one point. But they've all been backups. A guy I don't want to see on this roster is Kellen Mond or Nathan Peterman. What about Henry Ruggs III? I haven't heard of him in a while. He's still in jail. Yeah, he's still there. He's still doing hard time. The good news is, as bad as we were running the ball last night, other than Hooker, no one got hurt in the running back room. And the only reason why I say Lynn Bowden is because he's young, big bodied, contested catch guy. There's another guy that but he's getting up there in age. I think he's been in the league 9 years. He came out when he was 21. He's going on 30. Is Demir Bird, I believe his name is. But I don't think he's a good fit either. I like Renfro because he's in my cell. Brian's got him going, "You're my little puppy now." Last night was a hard game to watch. It was. I'm glad I had to miss some of Suckfeld's time on the field because I was on the show. I was enjoying what I was seeing about Hooker until I heard he left for the field, and I felt like my heart was ripped from my chest because I have a lot of hope that that young man can be something in his future. Not now. He looks like he could be a solid backup or a change of pace quarterback to come back in the Wildcat. Yep, Arnold looked good. Rakestraw looked good. Brendan Joseph was the star of defense. Him, Ukwu, Betts, and Lynn, or I mean, Martin and Lynn. Yeah, and Emmy had a couple nice pass breakups, couple good tackles. It's almost that time, guys. I'm getting sad. It's almost the end of the week already. That means Sunday I get to go to camp. Oh, I'm excited. But yeah, we had some positives on defense. A lot more positives on defense than on offense. I don't think the O line was as bad as everybody thought because Suckbelt just held the ball too long and got sacked. When the containment broke down, what I did like was the poise in the pocket and Hooker knowing when to get the hell out of there. Because it was like he had an internal clock in his head. If you watch, it was 2.5 seconds. He was making his reads. If no one was open, he ran. And I seen him. If you watch his head before he ran, he made at least 3 reads every time. He is not a one read and run quarterback. Because you can literally watch his helmet where he goes from right to left or from left to right. But man, did he look good running the ball. So I will give him that coming out of college. It looked like he was trying to read the defense. Hooker passes didn't look good. Not the last two, that's for sure. And you gotta remember, second half, it was raining. And I think that had a lot to do with why you didn't see Betts kick another field goal. Because we didn't have Scott Daly in there. We had Hogan Hatton to get him long snapper duty. And the other star of the game for flipping the field, Jack Fox. That man averaged 49.6 per yards punt net on 7 punts. And yes, it is that time. Everybody's favorite time of the day. FTP. That's right. Fuck the Packers. But well, damn, I guess I'll leave this for a good time. Call 1-800 Top Bears and ask for Gayla Williams. Done vaping as of 6 a.m. today. Wish me luck. Good luck, Zaqua. But at the same time, I have to give homage to my other sponsor, the one that actually paid for their spot. And that is Brandon's Tire Service at South Grand Traverse and West Atherton Road. 602 West Atherton Road in sunny Flint, Michigan. Flint, where the water is shit, but the tires are good. If you need new tires, please call 810-233-8230. Talk to George, Red, or myself. And also, if you need used tires to get you by until you can afford the new tires, they start at $40 a piece, depending on condition of the tire and the size of the tire. And we had so few highlights. Could Hooker play a similar role to New Orleans backup QB? He is also a tight end. I don't think he's built for tight end. Um, Taysom Hill is a different animal. Um, he's one of those positionless players because he played three positions in college and he now plays what quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. So four positions in the NFL. I think they even used him on a punt return one time. Insane. Pay a guy that much to be a punt all of those jobs when he should just be a quarterback. Because what's weird is he started a total of 12 games the last 3 years, and they won 11 of them. That's an interesting statistic to me. And it's not because he was great in those games. He was better when he came into the Wildcat with being creative, but not as a starter. It makes no sense. Um, maybe he's Tyler Huntley from the Ravens, that would come out. But I honestly think Hunter Renfro, who's about 28, 29, I believe. Let me see how old he is. 'Cause I don't think he got a second contract. He might be younger than I think. Oh, he's 28 years old. I nailed it. He could be that guy that could make it so it's easier to move Amon Ra around. Everybody talks about speed, this and that, but Hunter Renfro is a good route runner and a contested catch guy. And he's just a slot receiver. He doesn't play outside. He's an inside guy. He's one of those ones that like to get in and get dirty. But thanks everybody for watching. Have a blessed day and try every day to be a better person than you were the day before, 'cause that's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here. Jonathan Ray just finished talking about that. Yes, the Lions Fan Cave chat will be on at 9 p.m. tonight. We are getting there. 7 more subscribers. We will be doing our giveaway on YouTube. So make sure you go over there on YouTube. If you're on the Facebook side, hit that subscribe button. Share us out there. Get us more people, because we're going to do a memorabilia giveaway, and it's regardless of team. Third and Renfro would be a good get for y'all. Praying we grab him first. He's a slot machine. 100. And the other guy I like, he hasn't been real healthy, but he's a big bodied receiver. He has a good contested catch rate. Lynn Bowden. I always like Lynn Bowden. Just he has that body type that you want, and can play slot or outside. But I was just looking in case we had to sign. It was that type of situation with what I was trying to look at. But thank you everybody for